2 Corinthians 6:14-15 NIV. Do not be yoked together with unbelievers. For what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness? What harmony is there between Christ and Belial? Or what does a believer have in common with an unbeliever? Thank you for tuning in to Equally Yoked, a podcast where I take you along in my journey of getting closer to God, all the while learning how to attract and identify someone on a similar mission. Join me on the highs and the lows of Christian dating. Let's get equally yoked. Hi everyone, good morning and welcome back to the Equally Yoked Podcast. This is episode 2. Just pretty much wanted to record a quick video after I had some time to sit on and think about the story of the gentleman who we're going to call the fortune teller. He tried to tell my future and basically say that I would give in because it's like finding a needle in a haystack. And I pretty much just wanted to say that, yes, sir, you're right. It is like finding a needle in the haystack. And it is written as such, okay? Pretty much Matthew 7, verse 13-14 state, "Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction. And many enter through it. But small is the gate, and narrow is the road that leads to life, and only a few find it." That's the NIV. And you're absolutely correct. It's not very common to find, especially men these days. I feel like churches need more men that are active in them. Like mine, we have a few deacons. There are a few married husbands that I'm pretty sure just come with their wives. But we need more men that are standing up and showing up for Jesus. But you're absolutely right. It is like finding a needle in a haystack. And, it's just... And even the ones that do come, you have to discern what their intentions are in being there. And that led me to think of and remember another story just from like a week ago, Easter Sunday. And I was outside setting up for our Easter resurrection hunt for the children that we had right before our 11 a.m. service. And I was like, let me put this sign outside to invite people from the community to come. Excuse me. I'm not going to edit this, so excuse me that you heard that. But, and basically, I was given a sign instead. So I brought this sign that invited kids to the resurrection egg hunt. And I held it up. Maybe like 3 or 4 cars passed by. And I shouted it down to a bus stop like, "Hey, if you know any kids in the area, feel free to invite them. We're having a resurrection egg hunt at 10 a.m. So I had put the sign down, come back in, promise you it was less than 5 minutes. So I'm here talking to one of my sisters in the church. T, shout out to you. And all of a sudden, there's a guy that comes in, right? I'm not gonna lie. He seemed a little worldly, sagging pants, dreads, but you know what? I'm not one to judge, and I'm going to circle back on that later. But, and it seemed like he came seeking to do good. He said, I heard that someone needs help preparing for Easter. Where can I help? I was like, I was like, Jesus, is that you? He said this, man, because I'm not going to lie, y'all. As much as I'm looking for someone that is like submitted fully to Christ, I would like someone also that, has some knowledge of the world, has lived the world and decided to turn from the world, okay? I am attracted to a certain type of brother, okay? And that's neither here nor there. And I'm really trying to focus more on fruits of the Spirit, okay? And this was particularly interesting to me because he mentioned that his church down the road had closed down, unfortunately, and he doesn't have a new church home, but he's very interested in coming to the service for Easter. He said that he had to leave in 5 minutes to go take his sister to the airport. And I don't know. I find that hard to believe that he came to really help and participate in our setup if he had to leave anyway. But I wasn't trying to judge. So, in all my craziness, at that moment, I thought that God sent my man, y'all. I thought he sent him to the church. Because I wasn't seeking him out. He came and looked like he was trying to do good. And then I basically had to leave to go get my daughter too. He left to go pick up his sister. And I'm like, okay, we gonna see if he decides to come back, y'all. So I left to go pick up my daughter. And y'all, if God gonna send a sign, he gonna send a sign. I was walking to my car in the parking lot of the church and found what I'm going to call a bag of some greenery. Okay? If you catch my drift, that had been dropped in the parking lot. I'm like, not on the church property, y'all. Whose is it? I ain't gonna judge, but I am going to judge a tree. Well, I guess I am kind of judging because it says judge a tree by the fruit that it bears. And that fruit does not seem to be of the Lord unless it's for medicinal purposes. I ain't here to judge. And I'm, again, gonna get on that later. But, y'all, I feel like that's God giving me a sign because I had quit smoking and drinking and fornicating, right? And my sister, I told her, not my actual sister, but my sister in Christ, I told her what had happened, right? And she's like, I don't know. It seems like a sign. So I have just been very reluctant at that point. So I have been, as of today, my sober streak with the greenery has been actually 77 days. It says 2 months, 18 days, and it's been 84 days since I have drank alcohol. 2 months, 25 days. So, so I'm not trying to be led into temptation, y'all, okay? I ain't gonna lie, when I picked up the greenery, I smelled the outside of the bag. Alright? I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. But that was indication enough that I don't need to be around it. I don't need to be near it. I don't need to have it in my possession. And I certainly don't need anyone else that is partaking in it that could potentially, in time, lead me toward a road of destruction. So, all that to say, that's something I'm looking for in a man also. That is not so reliant or indulgent upon certain substances, because I've cut them out of my life and I would like it to stay that way because I've been happier than ever. If anyone out there is struggling, or maybe not even seeing it as struggling, but someone, you wake up, you're doing it. You take a lunch break, you're doing it. All day, every day type of Nate Dogg type vibes. Trust, or Dr. Dre type vibes. I just say, y'all, just give it up, because you'll be a lot happier without than chasing this constantly. So anyway, he had come and gotten it, and I was like, all right, so hopefully I'll still see you later for church. And then all of a sudden he had time, mind you, to come pick it up. So hopefully his sister made it to her flight on time, because brother man, he was coming back for that. All right. And lo and behold, he never showed up for church. And hasn't since. I mean, we going to see today, because I did say it was last week. Oh, no, it was 2 weeks ago, right? Anyways, I invited him to church midweek, and then he's like, I don't know, we going to see. But he did invite me to dinner, and I said, how about you come to church instead? So we're going to see. I will update y'all. We're going to find him. I mean, we're going to call that guy Dr. Greenthumb. So anyway, I'm looking for fruit of the Spirit. The very next verse in Matthew 7, the one that I just read to you all, the narrow and wide gates, is about true and false prophets, y'all. And I feel like, nothing is a coincidence out here, okay? So Matthew 7:15-20 states, "Watch out for false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly, they are ferocious wolves. By their fruit you will recognize them. Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Likewise, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus by their fruit you will recognize them." Okay, so that's Matthew 7, verse 15-20. Y'all, that was shown to me for a reason. Okay? Now, I have questions. Like I mentioned in episode 1, I am fairly new to this, being that I'd say I repented and turned from my sin almost a year ago. Well, not like quitting everything. I tried to quit everything, and then I failed, and then, it took me a while to actually cut certain things out. But I began going to church. I began praying more. I began reading my Bible more. I'd say just about a year ago. I was baptized in this past September. So it's been a little bit less than that. But it was after I was baptized where I really noticed a drastic difference. So I know some people don't believe fully in the baptism, but Jesus was baptized himself, y'all. So I'm a Christian. I'm going to follow what my Lord does. So anyways, all that to say, I don't know, y'all. It's a thin line between judging and discernment. Matthew 7, verse 1-2. We in Matthew 7 today, y'all, apparently. It says, "Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." So like I said, what is the thin line between judging and discerning potential partners? Is deciding that someone isn't an option for you considered being judgmental? I don't know. And that, my friend, is why I've created this podcast, to create some dialogue. Long story short, the gentleman, Dr. Greenthumb, and what did I say his name was? The fortune teller. I invited them both to join our congregation. I'm not interested in anything romantic at this point, after seeing the fruit that has been born, if that makes sense, born. But yeah, I wanna hear your thoughts on the difference between judging and discernment before I get some guests on this show. So thank you so much for tuning in. This has been something to ponder, please reach out to me on Instagram at Equally Yoked by God or at Raven So Fly and let me know what you think. You can also visit our website, equallyyokedbygod.com, or send an email, equallyyokedbygod@gmail.com. Thank you again so much for tuning into episode 2 of the Equally Yoked Podcast. I'm your girl, Raven. And let me know what you think. Talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Bye.